Hey everybody, welcome back to another Rocket League news video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how Dignitas officially signed Joreuz. G2 still seems to be struggling without the team house and kind of focusing on the BTS results. The Rocket Baguette Summer Grand Prix has officially announced the 12 teams that have been invited, and a general community tournament recap. And as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys look in the description down below. All the social medias that are displaying here can be found there. Make sure you guys go follow those if you want to support me on other channels like Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you name it. And if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as turn on subscribe, and make sure you hit up all the notifications to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the daily Rocket League content. First up, if you guys didn't see the announcement, the mechanical monster Joreuz is a final piece of our own Rocket League roster announced by Dignitas. In what was an extended tryout for Dignitas, they have officially signed Joreuz, a player that is very similar actually to Astral in his start in a career. So they tested out Joreuz for a couple tournaments, and I'm going to keep pronouncing his name wrong. His first name is Joreuz, Joreuz. That is what I'm going to go with because I know how to pronounce it, but his other name I think is Joreuz, or however you pronounce it. Either way, Joreuz is the player that has officially been signed to the Dignitas roster to replace Astral, and I can see why that is. There's a lot of similarities in the play style between both players when Astral first came into the scene, and I've talked about this in previous videos, where Joreuz has a lot of mechanical talent, very solid as a ones player, and can kind of make all the things happen. The only difficulty is his lack of experience, which someone like Violent Panda has been known to help someone come along with it. The difference, though, is that Joreuz, we don't really know what his personality is yet. We don't know if he gets down on himself, if he's frustrating to play with, if he's emotional. A lot of these things we haven't really been able to see on the inside unless we've asked directly to the players or the coach in Verge. So I think this is a really exciting thing. The fact that you found yet another superstar or another stud of a player when it comes to the mechanical ability, and you can kind of mold that into the threes play style where, yes, use those mechanics to open up opportunities, create passes, do a lot of different things that are going to make us more lethal as a team. But they're essentially, with Violent Panda's help, molding and shaping yet another superstar talent that could be at the top of the leaderboards. We've seen his results in numerous tournaments. We've seen what he can do. And the only thing that I think is lacking right now from Joreuz is his confidence. The ability to make sure that he is able to interject himself into a situation or feel like he has the ability to control the pace of a game. And that just comes with experience. The ability to be, I guess, more exposed to what's happening in the scene. And as they play more and more tournaments, that's going to do better. Unfortunately, we've only seen them in Euro Cup recently, but I hope as more tournaments happen, and with RLCSX coming up, there's going to be a ton of different events, talking 3 regional events, international majors, and everything else between the grid and the field and whatever else these guys want to play in. Good opportunity for this player to get that competitive experience against a multitude of different types of play styles, and eventually it's going to lead into positive results. Right now, if I had to place Dignitas, I would not exactly put them in the top of the region. I'd probably put them around 5th with Vitality, Oxygen, Liquid, and honestly BDS above them. And until I see more results, I think that's the only thing holding back. But again, I think this is a very talented roster with a ton of potential moving forward. I'm excited to see if they can make another run and give us that Vitality Dignitas rivalry that we got to see in Season 8 at Madrid. Next up, we are going through the group stages of the BTS Summer Shuffle, where we got to see how Group A and Group B have finalized before we get into our final bracket. We'll kind of go through the playoffs and maybe do some predictions, but overall, some underwhelming results from G2. They still seem to be struggling. And I tried to watch the majority of these games, and a lot of it for G2 was, even though they had a close series against Rogue, they dropped pretty heavily to Omelette in another close series. In that lower semifinal, nobody looked good. Omelette looked flat, and G2's positioning is just nowhere it's supposed to be. There was numerous times between Chicago's missed accuracy or JNAPs where he is cheated up too far and the ball goes over his head, and now he's having to stop and go and then rotate out. I don't know if it's a communication thing because they've been used to having like a LAN latency when it comes to their comms or what's going on, but they just do not seem like they're on the same page, and I'm really hoping they get back to that team house fast. G2 was a team that went on from being absolutely dominant for 3 months and winning just about every single tournament to not qualifying in Covert, playing pretty poorly in my opinion in Brawl, where they lost to Envy. And yes, Envy went on and winning, but they won their first match against 3-star Armada 4-0, so I guess I could take it with a grain of salt. But again, in here, you know, they're playing against other teams that in the past we'd be like, yeah, without a doubt, Energy and G2 have clear wins. Space Station also clear wins. But now I think G2 is struggling to stay in that top 3 and probably could be top 4. I think right now on top of NA is Energy, Envy, Space Station, and then maybe G2 after that. But with results continuing to show that other teams with their full rosters like Rogue are beating them, I can't really solidify that. The fact that they're losing to rival series teams, which I think are going to get a huge nod. We'll do a video about this probably later, about the benefits of being a rival series team coming into RLCSX. The fact that they're losing to some of these rosters is scary. Back when G2 used to be absolutely dominant and win these guys without question, just doesn't seem to be happening. The fact that they're going to 5, I think, is a big telling with that. It shows that G2 is still very talented as a roster and they still have a ton of potential, and that's why I consider them still a top 4 team. But the fact that they are going to 5 against teams that they would normally sweep, RLCS teams included, I mean, you go back and look at the results from Season 9, Energy absolutely dominated some of these teams, and it's just not the same situation. Part of that may be because it is a new roster and things are adapting, and I still don't want to discredit them. I think they're in a little bit of a slump right now. They can easily work their way out of it, but as of right now, G2 is not the same G2 that we've gotten to know as their dominance for the past 3 months, back when there was like late May, early April. On the other side in Group B, I was actually really excited to see that Envy has lived up to the name. After winning the Brawl 10K, a lot of us were kind of curious to see, is this going to be a similar result? Is it going to be a situation where they recreate this performance, or is it kind of a fluke and it was just a one and done? And in their Space Station game, I think in particular, there wasn't a whole lot of offense. Very defensive, sitting back pretty heavily. But as soon as they started to move up and really apply that pressure, we got to see a little bit more of what made them win the brawl. And Space Station gave them a good fight. So pretty back and forth. Again, as always, if you guys want to watch more of these matches, you can click on the eye icon on the screen, or when you go to the Liquipedia page, which I'll drop in the description. When you pull that up, then you can actually have a link to all the individual games. You click on it, it'll pull up the VOD. It makes it really easy to go back and watch. Right now, as I'm recording this, there's actually the Summer Shuffle that is going on with the Wheel and Deal format, which is where they're picking the cards from a deck where it's like Drop Shot, Stadium, or, you know, whatever kind of combination they want to play. And then after that is Mafia. I'm trying to actually finish this video pretty quickly and get through it, because I'm going to be a special guest in Mafia. And the best part is I can tease that on this video, because this video will be coming out tomorrow at 10 a.m. after Mafia has already happened. So hopefully we do well. Me and CJ, as a little insight, have planned to kill Leaf off immediately for giggles. So we'll see if he stabs me in the back or if we actually get some memes for Leaf. Either way, it's going to be fun. We then jump down into the playoffs, and you can tell by the seeding, Energy versus Space Station, Omelette versus Envy. Envy getting a little bit lucky on this one. I think they are going to move forward into that winners finals and put them in a very fantastic spot in the final day. Energy Space Station, obviously the highlight match in that first round. Energy has been easily considered the best in North America, and I think Space Station has struggled against them lately. So I'm curious to see how this one plays out. Space Station looked a little bit sloppy, I think. They were a little bit slow to the ball, but as their day went on, they started getting better. I think Plot Twist is a fantastic team that people can't count out. I think Sosa, as I talked about in my last video, has been performing extremely well. But if I had to go with a bid, I assume Energy is going to win the whole thing. I think Energy is looking pretty dang solid. In the end, we'll probably see between Envy, Plot Twist, or Space Station somewhere in that losers finals, and they'll move on to play Energy, which I think Energy will take the whole thing anyway. So a super quick prediction on that one, just so we don't kind of draw away from the rest of the video. In other community tournaments recently announced, Rocket Baguette, they are doing the Summer Grand Prix, which is a 40,000 euro prize pool. A lot of different matches going down, but the big one to notice, and the thing to kind of point out, is they have basically invited the 12 best teams, what many consider, in Europe to come out and play. In their website, which I'll link down in the description, it has the format about a qualification stage, which is a double elimination best of 5 bracket, where only 2 teams will advance, and eventually it'll work out through there. So all those details can be found down below, but the 12 teams that are showing, as you guys should be able to see on your screen, are going to be Team BTS, Singularity, Endpoint, Solary, Barcelona, Dignitas, Oxygen, Top Blokes, previously Veloce, Giants Gaming, Team Liquid, Monkeys, and Renault Vitality. If you guys don't know the Giants roster, that'll consist of Tox, Zamwe, and Stake. And as for the Monkeys, that is Matane, Taz, and Ixo. A lot of these teams that you should have probably recognized from Fusion when they played in Johnny's 1v1, 2v2s, and 3v3s. Be curious to see on how they play in a dedicated 3v3 match. Also, don't forget the kickoff for the Middle Eastern tournament put on by APL will be starting today, July 11th, which is a Middle Eastern only tournament. It's going to be the first time that we get to see other teams from the region. We've had 2 in the past with Sandrock Gaming, as many know, as well as Momentum Shifters. Overall, there is a bunch of different teams that a lot of people haven't seen, a lot of names that people may not recognize. So you may be able to find and kind of develop a fan base or become a fan of some of these lesser known players. I do recommend tuning into that. Based upon when it starts, I'm kind of looking at the schedule. It starts in 15 hours, so if I can do the math quick. So that'll be at 10 a.m. my time, which is 11 a.m. Eastern. So 11 a.m. Eastern is when this will go down for the Middle Eastern region. That will be held on twitch.tv/APL_esports. Highly recommend tuning in, and maybe you find some new fan favorites. Maybe there's another Ocala we don't know about. Alongside that is also the Latin American Championships, a 37,000 USD tournament. So a lot of teams there. Again, another tournament with teams that you may know like L11s, Avidity, Era. But overall, this is going to be kind of a unique situation where 2 teams are already into the winners finals, and then they're just working through the lowers. So they have pretty much already figured out the teams that are moving forward in the kind of final stages of the match. But a visual of the bracket should kind of show how this is going to play out. But Team Renewed and Team Neutral were 2 teams that ended up getting a little bit further. Renewed is probably the one people know the most with Spider, Math, and PJ. Avidity has some familiar names as well, but overall, there is a lot of matches to go down on that one. Matches will be on twitch.tv/Rocket Street Live. The exact start time should be around 1 p.m. Eastern or noon my time. So a lot of matches to pick from, a lot of things to watch tomorrow from multiple different regions. But because there is so many different tournaments going on between Latin American Championship, you've got APL for the Middle East, you've also got the Summer Shuffle for BTS. A lot of different regions are going to be on. I'm going to try to probably do my best to stream tomorrow and actually just keep people up to date with everything going on and work as like a hub and kind of a reporting system for those that are like, well, what's going on in this tournament, in this tournament, in this tournament? I'll just try to have all the Liquipedias and stuff up and allow people to kind of do a one-stop shop and come in as I answer any questions. But this is exactly what Psyonix wants. A bunch of different tournaments going on all at the same time. You can pick and choose what you want to watch and what you want to support. And then at the end of it all, I think my favorite thing is the fact that RLCS X is going to be this all over again throughout the next year. So pretty crazy stuff and what Psyonix is trying to do for the esports side of Rocket League. That is going to do it for this video, you guys. A lot of stuff being covered in the community side. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you guys drop those down below and I will do my best to respond in a timely fashion. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up and make sure you guys hit subscribe if you haven't already to make sure you guys don't miss out on notifications for the best Rocket League esports coverage. But with that said, I've got to go get ready to play some Mafia. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.